Okay, so you're diving into Ram Dass's journey of awakening as a student. It's a classic for a reason, right?
Right.
But between, classes and exams and all that,
Yeah.
who has time for like all this dense philosophy and mystical journeys and all that?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. We'll distill the essential wisdom.
Absolutely.
Perfect for those busy students seeking meaning even amidst all the chaos.
Well, and what's brilliant about this book is that it's not just like some abstract, spiritual text.
Right.
It's really a practical guide to understanding your own mind and navigating the ups and downs of life, which, let's face it, is extra relevant when you're a student.
Absolutely. It's like a survival guide for the soul.
Yeah.
And he starts off, talking about these flow moments that we all experience. Can you explain what he means by that?
So he's talking about those times when you're completely absorbed in an activity, that you lose all sense of time and self.
Right.
Maybe you've felt it while, I don't know, playing music, painting, or even coding.
Yeah.
You're so engrossed that everything else just kind of fades away.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I get that feeling when I'm writing. Sometimes I'll look up and it's like, hours have flown by.
Exactly. And what Ram Dass is saying is that these flow moments, they're actually glimpses of a deeper reality.
Okay.
A state of being that's always available to us. Meditation helps us tap into that state more consistently.
So it's like these flow moments are like little tastes of enlightenment.
You could say that.
Yeah.
They're like signposts, pointing us toward a more expansive way of being.
I like that. But the tricky part is like we often try to recreate the conditions that led to those flow moments.
Exactly.
Instead of recognizing the potential within ourselves.
That's where the book comes in.
Right.
It gives you the tools to cultivate that inner space regardless of what's happening externally.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more.
Yeah.
One of the core ideas that Ram Dass explores is the ego. He describes it as both a prison and a home base.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that?
He uses this analogy of a room that we build with our thoughts, beliefs, and identities.
Okay.
It's comfortable, it's familiar.
Right.
But it can also be limiting.
So it's like our comfort zone can become a cage.
Precisely. Think about those times you feel limited by labels like, I'm not good at math, or I'm not the social type. That's the ego boxing you in.
Right.
Ram Dass teaches us how to see through those limitations and access our true potential.
Okay.
Meditation is not about destroying the ego, but about understanding it as a tool that we can use rather than being controlled by it.
That's so powerful. It's like we need the ego to function in the world.
Yes, we do.
But it shouldn't be calling all the shots.
Exactly. And that's where meditation comes in. It helps us to step back from the ego's chatter.
Yeah.
And see things more clearly.
So how does meditation actually work?
Yeah.
Does he give specific techniques in the book?
He explores a wide range of practices, from breathwork and mantras to visualizations and yoga. But the underlying message is experimentation is key.
Okay.
Find what resonates with you, whether it's traditional meditation, mindful walking. He even talks about turning everyday chores into opportunities for presence.
I love that. It's like he's giving you a whole toolkit.
Exactly.
In your spiritual journey.
He even talks about Sufi walks.
Oh, yeah?
Where you walk in a specific way to cultivate different qualities like grounding or joy.
Oh, wow.
He emphasizes that it's about finding a practice that works for you.
Okay.
Not about mastering every technique.
Okay. So you found a practice that resonates with you. But what about when things get tough?
Yeah.
Because meditation isn't always like blissful and easy, is it?
No, it's not. And Ram Dass is like very honest about that. He acknowledges there will be distractions, doubts, even those tempting spiritual highs that can become their own kind of trap.
He actually tells this hilarious story. About trying to meditate while a mosquito kept buzzing around. Instead of getting frustrated, he used the mosquito as an object of focus.
Oh, wow.
Turning that like annoyance into a mindfulness lesson.
Exactly. It's a great example of how we can use challenges as opportunities for growth.
He also talks about this idea of loving it the way it is. What does he mean by that?
It's about accepting whatever arises in meditation. The good, the bad, the ugly. Without judgment or resistance.
Okay.
It's kind of a radical idea because it goes against our natural tendency
to
push away what's unpleasant and chase after what feels good.
That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like when you're, studying for a tough exam.
Yeah.
You can either stress out and resist the challenge, or you can accept it as part of the process
Right.
and focus on doing your best.
Precisely. And that acceptance doesn't mean, like, giving up
Right.
or becoming passive.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing what is and working with it skillfully.
So how does this idea of loving it the way it is apply to life outside of meditation?
It's about bringing that same attitude of acceptance
Okay.
to everything we encounter,
Right.
whether it's a difficult conversation, a stressful deadline,
Right.
or even just a bad hair day.
Yeah.
We can choose to resist and fight against it, or we can choose to accept it
Okay.
and respond with wisdom and compassion.
This is resonating with me so much because, like, as a student,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get caught up in the pressure to succeed, to be perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
But Ram Dass is saying, like, it's okay to embrace the imperfections,
Yeah.
the messiness of life.
He's emphasizing that true freedom comes from letting go of that need to control everything.
Okay.
It's about learning to ride the waves of life with grace and ease.
But that's easier said than done.
Of course.
How do you actually cultivate that kind of acceptance,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with, difficult emotions, like anxiety or fear?
Ram Dass is very clear that meditation isn't about escaping reality
Oh,
or suppressing our emotions.
Right.
It's about facing those demons head on,
Okay.
not trying to pretend they don't exist.
so it's not about becoming some, like, emotionless robot.
Definitely not. It's about learning to relate to our emotions in a new way.
Okay.
Instead of being controlled by them, we can observe them with curiosity and compassion.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together. It's like meditation is like training for life. It's about developing the, like, mental and emotional muscles.
Yes.
We need to navigate the challenges of being human.
Exactly. And Ram Dass reminds us that we don't have to go it alone.
Okay.
He talks about the importance of finding a supportive community, whether it's a meditation group, a spiritual teacher, or even just a friend who understands what you're going through.
That's so important because sometimes it feels like everyone else has it all figured out.
He also emphasizes that meditation isn't just about, sitting on a cushion with your eyes closed.
Right.
It can be integrated into every aspect of your life.
So it's not about escaping from the world,
No.
but about bringing that mindfulness and awareness
Yes.
into everything you do.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
calls it meditation in action.
I like that.
It's about bringing that same quality of presence
Okay.
to your studies, your relationships, your everyday activities.
That's perfect for a student who's juggling like a million things at once.
And you know what else is great about this book?
Right.
Ram Dass doesn't shy away from talking about, like, the really wild experiences
Okay.
that can happen on the spiritual path.
Like what?
He describes all sorts of intense things.
Okay.
Visions, psychic phenomena,
Wow.
even feeling like you're leaving your body.
That sounds kind of scary and exciting at the same time.
The key is to remember that these experiences are just that.
Okay.
Experiences.
Yeah.
They're not the goal in themselves.
So it's not about chasing after those spiritual highs we talked about earlier.
Exactly. They can be tempting, but ultimately they're still just part of the passing show.
Okay.
The real transformation comes from developing a stable, grounded awareness.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do you stay grounded when things are getting really, like, weird and intense?
Ram Dass encourages us to approach these experiences with curiosity,
Yeah.
but not cling to them.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of having a teacher or mentor who can guide you through those uncharted territories.
So it's like having a spiritual Sherpa
Yes.
to help you navigate the mountains of your mind.
Precisely. Someone who's been there before and can offer wisdom and support.
That's reassuring because sometimes it feels like you're going crazy.
Ram Dass assures us that these experiences are perfectly normal. They're part of the process of awakening.
So it's not about avoiding those intense experiences, but about learning how to relate to them skillfully.
Exactly. And he reminds us to not take ourselves too seriously, to find the humor in it all.
I love that because sometimes spirituality can feel so serious and heavy.
He encourages us to lighten up, to remember that the journey is supposed to be joyful.
Okay, I'm really starting to get this. It's not about reaching some, like, perfect state of enlightenment.
Right.
It's about embracing the messiness,
Yes.
the beauty, the humor of the journey.
And it's about bringing that awareness, that love, that joy into every aspect of your life as a student. your studies, your relationships, your interactions with the world.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
And it's one that I think a lot of students need to hear.
Because ultimately it's about waking up to the magic that's all around us.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of exams, deadlines, and all-nighters.
That's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that even in the chaos of student life, there's always room for peace, joy, and connection.
Exactly. And Ram Dass shows us how to access that inner peace through the practice of meditation.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about meditation, but what about the rest of the book? What other key takeaways stand out to you?
One thing that really resonates with me is his emphasis on the importance of service.
Okay.
Of giving back to others.
Why is that so important?
Because it's not just about our own individual enlightenment.
Right.
It's about contributing to the well-being of the world around us. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and understanding that our actions have a ripple effect.
That's a powerful reminder, especially in today's world where it's easy to feel isolated and disconnected.
Ram Dass reminds us that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And that by cultivating our own inner peace, we can actually make a difference in the world.
And they can take many forms, right?
Absolutely. It can be as simple as treating others with kindness and compassion. It can involve volunteering our time or donating to causes we care about. It can even manifest in the way we approach our studies and our future careers.
So it's about bringing that spirit of service into everything we do.
Exactly. And it's a beautiful way to live.
This is making me think about how much pressure there is on students to achieve success, to make a name for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But what if we shifted our focus from personal ambition to service?
Yeah.
To making a positive impact on the world.
That's a profound shift.
Yeah.
And it's one that Ram Dass encourages us to make. He reminds us that true fulfillment comes from aligning ourselves with something bigger than ourselves.
And that can be incredibly empowering, especially for students who are still figuring out their place in the world.
It's about recognizing that we all have unique gifts and talents that we can use to make a difference.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's a message that I think is especially relevant for students who are facing so many challenges and uncertainties in today's world.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and confusion, there's always hope.
Right.
There's always a way to make a positive impact.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. It's clear that Journey of Awakening has a lot to offer students.
It does.
Even amidst the craziness of college life. Is there anything else that you want to highlight before we wrap up?
What really stands out to me is that Ram Dass is not afraid to be honest about his own struggles.
Yeah.
He talks about his own doubts, distractions, and even spiritual pride.
Which makes him so much more relatable,
Yeah,
right?
cool.
He's not some perfect guru on a mountaintop.
Right.
But a real person who's walked the path.
Yeah.
And is willing to share his insights.
Exactly. He's like a wise friend who's been there, done that, and is offering guidance and encouragement.
And he does it with so much humor and heart.
He does.
It makes the whole journey feel less intimidating and more like an adventure.
That's what makes this book so appealing, especially for a student. It's not about becoming a monk or living in a cave, but about bringing that spiritual awareness into everyday life.
And that's a powerful message, no matter where you are on your journey.
Because ultimately, it's about waking up to the beauty and the magic that's all around us.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of our everyday challenges.
He even talks about those mundane tasks that we all dread.
Oh, yeah.
Like doing laundry or paying bills.
Yes.
And how we can approach them with a different mindset.
It's about finding that sense of peace and purpose in every moment.
Right.
Even the ones that don't seem particularly glamorous.
And I think that's a really important message for students who are often so focused on, achieving goals.
Yeah.
And checking things off their to-do lists.
It's a reminder to slow down, appreciate the present moment, and find that sense of inner peace that's always available to us no matter what's going on in our lives.
That brings us to another important point that Ram Dass makes. He talks about the different stages of the spiritual journey and how it's not always a linear path.
He uses this analogy of climbing a mountain.
Okay.
There are rest stops along the way.
Right.
And it's okay to take breaks, enjoy the view, and gather your strength before continuing the climb.
And sometimes you might even backtrack a little.
Yeah.
Or take a detour.
Exactly.
It's not always a straight line to the top.
Right. The important thing is to just keep moving forward, even if it's just, one step at a time.
He also talks about how the journey can be challenging and that we might encounter All sorts of obstacles along the way.
He calls these tests.
Okay.
Not in a punitive way,
All right.
but as opportunities to learn and evolve.
So it's like those moments when you're like pulling an all-nighter to finish a paper or you're like feeling overwhelmed by exams. It's easy to get discouraged and want to give up.
But Ram Dass reminds us that these challenges are actually opportunities for growth.
Okay.
They're pushing us to develop resilience, perseverance, and a deeper understanding of ourselves.
That's a really helpful perspective because, like, as a student, it's so easy to get caught up in the pressure to succeed, to get good grades, to impress everyone.
He encourages us to shift our focus from external validation to inner transformation.
Okay.
It's not about proving ourselves to the world, but about discovering who we truly are.
And that can be a much more fulfilling journey, right?
Absolutely. And it's a journey that's available to everyone, no matter what your background or beliefs are.
I think that's one of the things that makes this book so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not about, like, following a specific dogma or set of rules.
Right.
It's about, like, exploring your own inner landscape and discovering your own truth.
And that's a journey that's worth taking.
Yeah.
Even if it's messy, even if it's challenging, even if you have no idea where it's going to lead.
So for students who are feeling like lost or uncertain about their path, what advice would Ram Dass give them?
He would encourage them to be curious, to explore different possibilities, to experiment with different practices.
Yeah.
He would remind them that there's no one right way to do this journey.
And that it's okay to make mistakes.
Of course.
To stumble, to fall down along the way.
Exactly. He would say that the mistakes are actually part of the learning process.
So it's not about being perfect, but about being willing to learn and grow.
Exactly. And it's about trusting the process.
Yeah.
Even when you can't see the destination.
This is making me think about all the pressure that students face to figure out their future, to choose a career path, to have it all figured out.
Ram Dass would say that it's okay to not know.
Yeah.
It's okay to explore, to change your mind, to take your time.
He would probably encourage students to listen to their intuition.
Absolutely.
To follow their hearts rather than just going along with what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. It's about finding your own unique path, even if it's unconventional, even if it takes you in unexpected directions.
That's really inspiring because it means that even amidst the uncertainty and the pressure, there's still room for freedom and possibility.
And that's a powerful message for students to hear.
So if you're a student who's feeling overwhelmed or lost, or just curious about exploring your inner world, I highly recommend checking out Journey of Awakening.
It's a book that can offer guidance, inspiration, and a sense of hope.
Yeah.
Even amidst the challenges of student life.
It's a reminder that you're not alone on this journey.
You're not.
And that there's a whole community of seekers out there who are exploring these same questions.
And that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Ram Dass's Journey of Awakening.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep waking up to the beauty of this present moment.
Namaste.
Namaste.